This dramatic footage shows Ukrainian artillery destroying Russian positions near Bakhmut in eastern Ukraine. Shows Russian positions being repeatedly targeted by Ukrainian artillery in large explosions, causing large plumes of grey smoke to rise into the air. The footage was obtained from Stratcom of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, along with a statement saying that they show the destruction of Katsap positions by the artillery of the Armed Forces of Ukraine near Bakhmut. Katsap is a derogatory Ukrainian term for a Russian. Besides that, as reported by Newsweek, President Volodymyr Zelensky has said that Russian forces have destroyed the eastern Ukrainian city of Bakhmut, where the most active fighting in Ukraine is taking place. The latest battles of Russia's war in Ukraine have centered on 4 provinces that Russian President Vladimir Putin triumphantly. The fighting indicates Russia's struggle to establish control of those regions and Ukraine's persistence to reclaim them. Zelensky said the situation remains very difficult in several frontline cities in eastern Ukraine's Donetsk and Luhansk provinces. Bakhmut, Soledar, Mariinka, Kreminna. For a long time, there is no living place left on the land of these areas that have not been damaged by shells and fire, Zelensky said in his nightly video address, naming cities that have again found themselves in the crosshairs. The occupiers actually destroyed Bakhmut, another Donbass city that the Russian army turned into burnt ruins. I thank all our heroes, all army, and commanders who hold the front in these directions, repulse attacks, and inflict significant losses on the enemy in response to the hell that entered Ukraine under the Russian flag, Zelensky said. And the Russian military in recent weeks has poured manpower and resources around Bakhmut in an attempt to encircle the city, analysts and Ukrainian officials have said. The Russian Ministry of Defense claims that Ukrainian troops unsuccessfully attempted to regain certain lost positions south of Bakhmut. Russian sources largely discussed the intensity of operations in this area and emphasized high Ukrainian losses. ISW analysts also mention Putin is preparing the Russian public to accept that the war in Ukraine will become increasingly grinding and protracted. Besides, the pro-Russian Donetsk People's Republic has also said that it has destroyed 4 Ukrainian tanks in the Donetsk region of eastern Ukraine. The footage purports to show Ukrainian armor advancing across the battlefield in a move that the Donetsk People's Republic claimed was a bid to recapture lost ground. The footage shows that a significant portion of the Ukrainian forces was struck in the attempt, the DPR claimed. At one point, a drone bomb can be seen allegedly being dropped on Ukrainian soldiers located next to an armored vehicle. Another piece of the footage allegedly shows Ukrainian soldiers next to another armored vehicle being hit before the remainder of the vehicle's retreat. An offensive attempt was made by the Ukraine forces, consisting of up to 15 armored vehicles, which were provided with fire support by up to 6 tanks. During a fierce battle, 4 pieces of equipment were destroyed and the armed forces of Ukraine were forced to flee. After Ukrainian forces recaptured the southern city of Kherson nearly a month ago, the battle heated up around Bakhmut. Taking Bakhmut would rupture Ukraine's supply lines and open a route for Russian forces to press on toward Kramatorsk and Sloviansk, key Ukrainian strongholds in Donetsk. Meanwhile, as reported by Reuters, Russian President Vladimir Putin said Russia would likely have to reach agreements regarding Ukraine in the future, but felt betrayed by the breakdown of the Minsk agreements. Putin said Germany and France, which brokered ceasefire agreements in the Belarusian capital Minsk between Ukraine and Russian-backed separatists in eastern Ukraine in 2014 and 2015, had betrayed Russia and were now pumping Ukraine with weapons. In an interview published in Germany's Zeit magazine on Wednesday, former German Chancellor Angela Merkel said that the Minsk agreements had been an attempt to give Ukraine time to build up its defenses. Speaking on Friday at a news conference in Kyrgyzstan, Putin said he was disappointed by Merkel's comments. The Russian leader referenced a comment made by former German Chancellor Angela Merkel this week, in which she acknowledged to the German newspaper Die Zeit that the Minsk agreements had been an effort to give Ukraine time to build up its defenses and become stronger. Putin called the remark disappointing, according to the Russian media outlet TASS. "Frankly, I did not expect to hear this from the former federal chancellor," he said. "Now there is a question of trust, it is already almost at zero," Putin continued. "I have said many times that we are ready for agreements, we are open, but this makes us think about who we are dealing with." Putin has previously said that Ukrainian neutrality and a commitment to demilitarization are prerequisites to a negotiated end to the conflict. Kiev has rejected those terms and demanded that Russia return all the Ukrainian territory it has claimed to annex, including the Crimean Peninsula, which Russia claimed in the 2014 aggression that prompted the Minsk agreements.